Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? Sitting on my screen. There we go. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope everybody's been having a good start to their morning today. Um, so first and foremost, in here is I'm talking to you. Follow us on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, people, called The Corner of What You Need. It is completely spelled out. And I'm asking you guys to like, share, all those other things with your family, your friends. I know not everybody can come on here, but if there's anything, I've been uploading some of the videos that I've done here onto YouTube, so definitely follow me on YouTube. Again, this weekend on Saturday, there is an amazing event I would like for each of you to be a part of. This is for the ladies in the Los Angeles area, so you have to inbox me. It's called Access Denied, Pain Hurts. We are dealing with women who have dealt with pain, had issues in the past, things that are still affecting them. We're talking about your healing process, people. So it's going to be this Saturday, August from 2 to 5. Inbox me uh, or text me for details. I'm going to put my phone number up here. You are more than welcome to do so. Um, 2652, 2966. Also, don't forget next week. If you guys haven't, I ask you guys to check out Beacon Live Radio. Beacon Live Radio um, is really a voice for the community. And so next week, I will be on Beacon Live Radio. I'm starting August 11th from 6 to 7. Definitely please check it out. And also by then, you'll also see my website stuff too for my candle business as well as um, my personal website for all that I do and all that I'm involved in. You'll see all those things going up. So once those things are up and running, I'll definitely post it. So, however, today I wanted to, okay, and as y'all can see, I'm doing 12 things at one time. Okay, so today I wanted to just touch on a little topic. I posted it yesterday, um, but I really kind of just wanted to address it. Um, so we've all been hearing and know about Black Lives Matter, um, the organization. Um, and yesterday I heard it, I happened to hear it mentioned on Beacon Live Radio on another show they were having. And I still really found it really just kind of, when you go look up stuff and you really didn't read it, but you kind of grazed over it. And so I said, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm always trying to read and research and do little things like that. So really read what they're about. So I took a moment to go read what um, Black Lives Matter, the organization, is about. Now, as I read it, um, I had a lot of questions. Um, I know it was addressed to me, and I love for people, if you have videos and things like that, send it to me if you haven't. But my concern was that the name of the organization and what the organization about to me are a contradiction. A contradiction. Here's why I say that. We're saying Black Lives Matter. I'm a Black life, my son's a Black. a lot of black people. We have over black people count for about, I feel like it was 15% of the nation. So we're looking at about what, 2, 3 million people. So it's a good portion. We're saying Black Lives Matter. Now, granted, they speak on Trayvon Martin. They speak about Sandra Bland. They mention the different things, men and women that were killed by the hands of police brutality. They were unnecessarily, um, they were murdered. Okay. They do mention that on their website. They do mention, um, we're fighting for the cause. But here's something that just kind of really why I asked this question. I kept seeing about transgender, um, sexual orientation, things of that nature. And basically, a lot of the content of what they were saying they are about is speaking volumes when it comes to the LBGT community. LBGTQ community, forgive me. Now, that's fine. Here's what I have an issue with. I still have an issue. I recognize that maybe, two of the women that were in charge are homosexual women who have sons that were killed. I understand that, and that's part of probably why this whole organization was started. However, if your agenda is for the black community as a whole, say about needs to say that. It needs to reflect that. When you read it and what they're about, a lot of it states, like I said, about the homosexual, the LGBTQ community. If that is your agenda for specifically the LGBT community that are African American and trying to better and have a better life, so on and so forth, if there is an agenda for that purpose, then say that is your agenda. You have people going around saying Black Lives Matter, in which in cases I'm in agreement with the statement. I am in agree with that movement. I do believe we as a black community, um, we have suffered by the hands of police brutality. We are consistently people find us consistently suspicious. I've mentioned before, I find it very uncomfortable. I don't like it when people find find themselves so-called more comfortable with me because I'm a fair-skinned black woman. But then if you introduce somebody who is darker complexion than myself, you suddenly feel uncomfortable. Or if you see me, I as usually, I got braids in my hair. So if I wear my braids and I have my earrings and things like that, some people kind of be like, oh. But if I have my hair straight and have my little do and wear my cute, the response is different. So I'm saying that to say people have a different response. However, that was my biggest issue with I'm with the movement. I'm with we have an equal opportunity. I am with us speaking on having equal rights and being treated. Things that were written into law, things that our Constitution is supposed to say, and the Declaration states that we should all be treated equally, and yet we are not. We see quite often um, one crime for one person of that is not black or of color gets sentenced one thing, but you see the person of color gets sentenced for something else. So I'm with the movement, but when you read the website, there's something there that makes me go, it doesn't agree with me where it's a contradiction to me. You can't say to me, I'm like, if they need to be more specific instead of naming their organization Black Lives Matter, probably say Black LGBTQ communities or something, because that's a lot of what their um, organization is about. That's what it says quite often. Although they are mentioning the different incidents that have taken place, the different murders and police brutalities of Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, um, they're mentioning these things. However, although they mention it, a lot of what they're saying has to relate to the LGBTQ community, specifically the Black LGBTQ community. Now, if that's their agenda, be that your agenda, speak for that. But don't speak for a community as a whole. What I'm saying is, I can't come here and say, I'll give you an example. You guys have seen me promote or begin to speak on the program that we're doing, Access Denied Pain Hurts. So this Saturday, I'm part of an event. My god sister is in charge over it, and I'm very proud of her. However, this is something where we are helping women. It doesn't matter race, background, is to help women who have been dealing with pain, who have been carrying things, and we want them to learn how to heal, how we get past those things, how we recover from that. The purpose of the whole thing is that we have all been hurt as women, and there are things that we are harboring that we still carry. That it is now that season, it is now that time to let that go, to be healed and released from that, released from old wounds, so that we can move forward. That is the purpose. I cannot sit here and encourage that more for more people. Now, I can't sit here and say that statement and then turn around and say this is for women, women. So, and then of course making it clear, like, okay, this is for women. It is biblically based. It is all going to be really from the Word of God. Make the statement clear what it is, giving people a choice whether or not they want women of choice. Like, hey, this is what it's about. This is what is going on. Am I surprised if men will become involved? No. Would I be surprised if men would want to be part of it? No. Would I be surprised if it extended to men? No, I would not. However, it was placed on her for right now to reach to women. So that's the agenda. If that's the agenda, my statement, the thing that I'm going for, it's almost like a contradiction. I can't sit here and say that, but then I'm going for specifically black women of this. That doesn't work. It's a, when you're during anybody who's done business, when you're marketing specific um, demographic. When you read the website for Black Lives Matter, they're marketing and targeting specific demographic. That's what it looks, and that's what it appears to be. I know and recognize, and I know people are like, well, Janine, they said this, they said that's cool. But although they may have said it, then what they have said publicly to a lot of people, it needs to reflect on their website because there's going to be people such as myself who may not have heard it. So somebody like myself who's like, what is Black Lives Matter? Let me look that up. They're going to look that up and they're going to read it and they're going to go, oh, okay, well, I see, but then, okay, is this for Black lives or is this for LGBTQ? What are they completely about? And then eventually, of course, obviously you can call, you can email and ask questions. But if I was just to read it, whatever you say, people are looking for that. People are looking for people to be specific. That to me is quite confusing. So I encourage and implore everybody, before we speak and start supporting and start saying things about different organizations, really look into it and see what they're truly about. Even the NAACP. NAACP is to help Black communities. Well, there's some things about that people question. There are a lot of organizations out here, and I had somebody comment on the post that I did make. There are a lot of organizations out here that should be questioned. We see quite a bit of, I don't know if people are making comments. I'll be honest with you guys. If you guys are making comments to me, I do apologize. But this thing won't allow me to see it till after the fact. And for that, I will go on here. But I don't know. Um, there are other organizations that say things, and okay. So there are organizations that say things that don't match with what they say. So, and Black Lives Matter is one of them. It gives a sense of confusion, like no direction, a lot of confusion. Now, here's the other part that's come up about Black Lives Matter. A lot of the money they've had, a lot of money they raised, has been said to go towards um, the Democratic Party. So it's like another agenda. So those are things we need to pay attention to. Those are things we need to watch out for because um, although these organizations may scream and say that they're for certain things, they literally have another agenda in mind. So everybody that says one thing is not really for what we may think. It may sound good in trying to find out what people are truly about. Then we're carrying something like here's what I personally think. I think with the words, the terms Black Lives Matter caught a fire literally because we were seeing black people being killed right before it. So the slogan, the words that got caught fire. And so then here you have the organization and then say, well, yeah, we're the organization. And nobody took time to really look into the organization because everybody, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Then you, of course, have those, and we still have those which I find are, to me, is insulting, that go around vandalizing, talking about what Black Lives Matter and ain't got nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Black folks, we're not going to vandalize and do stuff unless, well, we're just not going to do that. Only time you're going to, when we tied, we want public handle business. Anyway, I mean, not, we take that back. But um, as I was paying attention to the website, it was so much there that I kind of just was like, and I want to know because I know here, if I could share the screen, I would. But if anybody has not been on the website for Black Lives Matter, I do encourage everybody to please go and look at it because we're saying Black Lives Matter, but if you really read it, it's only a specific group of people. When they read what it's about, her story, it's one that says about, there are 6 points, her story. And I think it was one more thing, I totally forgot what it was already, but it's like four different reasons of what they're saying Black Lives Matter is about. And when you really read it, although they mention Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, Mark Snow, forgive me, you guys, I'm not always great with names. But they mention these names, but their whole agenda doesn't match. And so it makes you go, okay. And so everybody's been screaming, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And in one sense, a lot when you hear the media, let's go there with it. When people are saying Black Lives Matter, the media takes it into reference of the organization. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of people who've not read or know really what the organization itself is about. There are people that have read it and they're in agreement and they're, yeah, it's about that. There are people that are just saying it. And then here's the other thing. Has the slogan or the words of Black Lives Matter, was that being said for such a long, started to be said? Because they even tell you on the website, well, it started out as power something. It started out as another term, it's another word, another type of organization, and they use. But then people started saying Black Lives Matter. So then they turn around and capitalize on it into making an organization and made it official. And then that took a blaze, and that's why they're able to be as successful as they are because they're saying Black Lives Matter. Everybody's like, oh, they're about Black lives in the Black community. But when you read it and you know about it, like they're not about the Black community. They're about a certain group in the Black community. If you're about a certain group, be about that certain group. But if you are about the Black community as a whole, then be about that Black community as a whole. I need to see. And then here's the other thing. I'm gonna keep it 100 because this is something that's just been frustrating me. So I've always said I'm not a person. Don't tickle my ears. Don't say something that just sounds good because I don't like that. I don't like when people just say, especially during election time. I'm very, very. It's time for us to extremely be very attentive to what these and really listen to what a lot of these politicians are saying. Reason being is because they're saying a lot of stuff really just to get your vote. But you really have to see if they truly, truly, truly care about what's happening, our world, our community, what's really going on, right? So that's where I'm starting to look at like, okay, when I looked at it, the thing that came to my mind was like, okay, there are black men in jail, there are black women in jail, there are things happening to black women and black men, our kids, where our schools are underfunded. They got books from God knows when, nothing's new, no computers, no access to things to help them better their education. Our education system is completely unequal. Our justice system is not equal. Nothing in our community is. We got fast food all day. We not teaching us how to be business minded. They have constantly, oh, you guys get loans, consistently putting us in debt, not teaching us how to take this money and really how to use it wisely and build wealth for our community, but how to go ahead and do everything else and work for other people, make other people rich. So when I'm looking at those things, I kind of go, shouldn't those things be in Black Lives Matter? Number one, should they really? But as a whole, and then number two, the other thing I look at is in these past few months, what the hell's been done? We've been screaming Black Lives Matter. Okay, so now you have maybe one or a couple things that, well, now it's illegal. It's a hate crime now. I believe it was in Georgia. It should have been that long time ago. Um, and then you have hate crimes official now in Georgia. Should have been like that a long time ago. Should have, you know, you have all these organizations. Yes, we support Black Lives Matter. That was the other thing. That was the other thing that caught me off. Do you guys realize how many organizations were supporting Black Lives Matter? But here was my question now. Are you supporting Black Lives Matter, the movement? Are you supporting Black Lives Matter, the organization? Because the thing about it was, and that's a whole nother money thing too, people are going to say Black Lives Matter, and they really don't give a damn. So we have to pay attention to that too. Um, we of course saw some things where, and that bothered me. You saw a lot of black businesses starting to have success and be more successful, and it was like we really had to have this in order for black people to buy from black people. Are you freaking kidding me? To me, that was an insult. But anyway, that's just me. I can get that. Still don't understand it. That to me is baffling. We should have already been doing that. The thing about us is this. Let me explain something to you as black people and as a black community. We are natural born leaders. If you haven't caught on to that, we are natural born leaders, okay? When it comes to even, listen, when you have people trying to mimic and be like you, the injection of your butt, the injection of your boobs, we as women, honey, are fully, we are naturally voluptuous women. We have full lips, our hair, whether we braid it, whether we wear an straight, we are diverse, okay? I could go ahead and put this and braid my hair. I could turn around, be curly. I could have it straight. I could do whatever. And everybody's like, well, why? Because that's just it's in my blood. I just do that. But when you look at black women are diverse. I remember taking a picture. This is with my family. And I laughed because I looked, I said, dang, we look like the Rainbow Coalition. You got light skinned black people, brown skinned black people, dark skinned black people, but we are a plethora of beautiful things. Then on top of that, it's so much to us. We have to be able to stand and say, wait a minute, I won't accept you. I won't accept you belittling me, number one. Number two, I have a voice. I should be able to articulate and say whatever I need to say for people to. And if I make you feel uncomfortable, that's you. Maybe you need to go figure you out. I shouldn't have to make people feel comfortable because when I walked in, it was intimidating. So here's something else. My father passed. My father was 6'1". Now, my dad was not a big guy, like huge. My dad was, he was pretty a stature type of guy, right? He's pretty, you know, tall guy, and he's slender though. And when people would see him, the first thing they're like, Janine, your daddy cup, your daddy look crazy. I'm like, no, but you okay? Okay, we're gonna put some on it, okay? What's wrong with your back? Mario wants to say this is the cutest black man in the world to me. Say hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, what's wrong? Your back hurt? Okay, here, let me put some of this. Turn around. All right, mommy, do this again. Come here. Oh, wait, no, let's try this. I gotta get some more of that. I use that on my back. Turn around. Okay, so look, y'all know I'm always about natural healings, right? So I'm putting some stuff on his back. I know that'll help the pain that he's been having in his back. But anyway, as I was saying, people get intimidated when people walk in. Even his dad's a big guy. And people always would think, Charlotte said, hi, Bookie. He said, hey, Charlotte. Oh, he's got to show you his shoes. He got some LeBron James shoes, okay? So Charlotte, come over. He wants to, oh, here, he's going to show you his shoes. That's his shoes. He wants to show you his shoes. Very nice. Okay. So he got some LeBron, y'all. Anyway, he's happy. But anyway, we people get when you walk into a room, we could carry ourselves in. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you walk into the room, people just pay attention? I'm gonna tell you said wow, Charlotte. But when you walk into a room, there's something about your presence where people are like captivated. And especially if you're in a room where you're unexpected. I used to get insulted when people I'm gonna tell you said Charlotte, I'm gonna tell you that you said they were awesome. I used to get insulted when people would say something where, oh, you're really smart. Oh, you speak so well. And I'm like, what was I supposed to sound like? And then I worked in a industry, predominantly white folks were there, but I worked in an industry where in private aviation, and I remember a few times I would sit at the desk. I'm gonna tell you, said Maria, and the um, pilots would come in, and I remember one pilot, he'd be like, "Yo, what's up? How you doing, girl?" And I was like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And his whole demeanor changed. But what I noticed with him was that when it was my counterpart that was speaking with him, he acted totally different. But when he saw me, he would say, "Yo, yo, yo, what's up?" I didn't like that. That really offended me. But anyway, I know I kind of got away from what I was saying. But I'm saying this just because we as a community really just kind of need to get back. We need to speak for ourselves. Stop having people speak for us. I know we keep looking for these leaders. We keep looking for people to fight. Oh my God, for us. And then now my thing says I'm having trouble. And the crazy part is, I know a lot of you guys see me. Can you guys see me? Please tell me yes, no, maybe so. I don't know why my connection is secure.